Hi, my name is Martin and I'm a specialist technical coach and mentor for open Formula drivers. In this video, I'm going to give you my opinion, my thoughts, my opportunities and recommendations and comments on the crazy race that was 2025 F1 Dutch Grand Prix. If you're interested in what those are, definitely keep watching. Welcome back to the channel, guys. I hope you're going well. Chaotic race, a lot to get through, a lot of things I want to comment on and a few opportunities I want to show you as well. If you've got time to just watch the whole thing, that'd be great. If you're short of time, just go to the chapters, find the section you're interested in hearing my take on, and yeah, go from there. Want to kick off with the start and Oscar Piastri's lack of defensive posture. It's getting to me a little bit because I think at this point, Oscar's taking great poles. I'm not sure he's necessarily dotting his I's and crossing his T's, sealing the envelope properly and just making sure that he's going to convert these properly. The lack of defensive posture means you don't have an insurance policy. If Lando gets a better start, which he did, or even just slightly better than he did, he's straight up the inside, straight into beautiful clean space and the inside, which is super valuable going into any corner. So even in the rules, the inside favors you a lot more as well. So for Oscar to go straight, Lando's got a good start, then put steering lock in. That costs you forward momentum. You're late to the inside where you need to be. I'll bring up my, we spoke about this yesterday, so I'll bring up my diagram from the whiteboard. Yeah, I was basically saying that Oscar on pole needs to preset his car in the box and shoot across to the inside as quickly as possible. Instead of going straight first and then putting steering lock in, you're late to this party. So Lando did get a good start and he did get a creep up the inside. Oscar did come across, but yeah, I just think Oscar could have done a better job there. The preset pretty much saves you heaps of drama and heaps of troubles. So I'm still looking for that for Oscar. And if it continues to happen, there will be a time when P2 gets a better launch and you've lost your race lead. Max Verstappen starting on the soft compound tire, had a bit of a look around the outside of turn one, at Lando Norris, and because Max is lacking front grip in that Red Bull, he still couldn't pull it off. But then an amazing move around the outside of turn two, heading into turn three. A very brave move. For me, it was up there with the sort of quality that he showed in Imola around the outside of turn one of Oscar Piastri. Really brave move on the sand, all in approach. A great piece of anticipatory driving from Max as well. If you watch the onboard, he doesn't even get the slide yet. Like you don't even visually see the car out of shape. He's already putting opposite lock in. So Max is like 2 steps ahead of what the car is going to do. Beautiful piece of driving, lovely overtake, opportunistic, class, championship worthy, everything that you would expect. I'll jump over to the whiteboard and show you guys where we are now and just zoom in on turn two. So Max just gets a run here around the outside of Lando. He tried at turn one, Lando's over here, and Max just sweeps in with more speed, finds the dust over here, and then finds the opportunity at turn three. That's exactly where I said there would be opportunities come the race start, did I not? If you go back and have a look at the post-qualifying video, yeah, I said maybe not necessarily too many opportunities at turn one, but certainly opportunities at turn three, particularly for some of the midfield guys as well. And good to see that Max took advantage of that one. I thought Lando's pass on Max around lap 8 or lap 9 was also a really quality move. He just got it done really deep on the braking outside into turn one and used the McLaren strength, which is front grip, to drive around Max Verstappen at turn one. Really nice move. Very important, I thought, for his race as well at that stage. To get it done on lap 9, I thought, Lando's still in this. If rain comes, strategy, he can hunt down Oscar. Little pit stop dramas, anything can happen. I thought that was a critical and good move by Lando on lap 9 on Max down at turn 1. Just some quick additional notes on turn 10. I've been talking about the tight line all weekend, how the cars don't like this slow speed direction change across track width when downforce is not significant into long corners of constant radius. And I've been saying tight line is your friend and you want to be using it as much as possible. Got a really good chance to see Charles's nice tight line into there. Kimi Antonelli also worked out that a tight line was an option. And then Franco Colapinto showed us on lap 62, like just how early you can get into the apex if you take a tight line. He tried to steal a position, I think, off Esteban Ocon. Someone in the comments yesterday wrote that they're at Zandvoort, at Netherlands, watching turn 10 and the tight line, and that Isaac had a really tight line as well into there. I'll show it. I still think Charles is class of the field into turn 10, and I'll show it to you guys now. So let's have a look at it. So this is lap 11, and you've got the fight between these two guys, Hadjar Leclerc. Have a look at this. Yeah, Charles is a car width or more inside Hadjar's line there. Beautiful piece of driving from Leclerc. This is the sort of thing that kept him in the fight. As we talk about his fight with George Russell, it all started here as well. This was Kimi Antonelli's line into here when he was following Tsunoda. Beautiful. You can see the less work that the car has to do to get into that corner. Lovely piece of driving. I thought it was well demonstrated, like I said, by Franco Colapinto. Sorry, lap 58 was the replay. Have a look at this. Franco just dives into the apex here, and it just, I think this is a good visual representation of just how much time and distance you can gain by just getting the car straight and diving into the apex. Like, it's just, the other car is just trying to carry speed in, trying to set up a good exit, trying to get everything all square and perfect. That's all over by the time Franco just dives in and takes this. So again, supports what we've been saying all weekend about this. Like, yeah, it looks quite straightforward in a way. And at that point, he's ahead at the apex. He's got control of the corner. If Franco wants to, he can run out whoever's on his outside to the edge of the track, because Franco's in front at this point. He's got total control, and all of the rules begin to favor you at this point as well. Lewis Hamilton crashed out of the race on lap 23 as that rain just came down. The painted Aramco sign around the long turn 3. Yeah, he got his right rear on that one and just got a bit of oversteer. By the time he corrected, he was in the wool. One thing I heard before that, so lap 23 was his crash. What I heard on lap 22 was a plug shift. I haven't spoken about plug shifting much on this channel. It's essentially when you do your downshifts for the corner. So do, and then before you go for the throttle, you just pull a gear at that lull, at that moment when you're kind of off the brakes and haven't quite loaded and introduced the throttle yet. You're just waiting for the rotation in such a long corner. You can actually pull a gear, and essentially it's like you're using that extra downshift to brake the car and get the rotation, and you're going down to the right gear. But instead of accelerating from that gear, because the corner is so long, and when you accelerate and then pull the upshift, sometimes that puts a bit of a torque in the engine and can upset the rear axle of the car, because the shift actually creates a bit of vibration and a bit of movement at the back. So yeah, what Lewis was doing was just pre-pulling that first shift, called the plug shift, and driving out in that higher gear. I've actually got the video, so have a listen to it. And I thought that was interesting. On lap 22, same corner, by the way, maybe it showed us that he was struggling with a bit of rear grip in the middle to exit of that corner. Have a listen to the video now.
Temperature's under control. Lewis Hamilton still right from Isaac Hadjar, keep his engine under temperature's under control.
You can even see it on his hands there if you go back as well. You'll just see that in the middle of the corner, his right hand pulls for that gear, even though you haven't heard the throttle start as well. So I don't know if those two, like if causation, correlation, you know, if that's an indicator. If you watch Oscar Piastri's pole lap from yesterday, no plug shift, just drives out in the same gear. So you just hear the revs come up and the shift all the way on the exit of turn 3. Hamilton with the plug shift. Obviously the Ferrari's got different gears. It's a different engine to the Mercedes. But I thought I'd call out something interesting. Maybe you want to check what Charles is doing. And same corner, he crashed that. And the plug shift is all about rear grip and traction as well. So, yeah, anyway, there you go. As far as the crash, I mean, Lewis was hoping that there would be some rain. And in the end, it was the thing that actually caught him out. It's a bit of rain on the paint. Yeah, just a bit of carelessness from Lewis, unfortunately. Wanted to talk to you guys about all of Oscar's restarts. We'll start with this one. So it was lap 27 after, obviously, Lewis crashed on lap 23. We spoke about this on the live stream. I'll jump you guys over to the whiteboard and I'll show you what we discussed on the Thursday live stream. We basically said turn 12 presents an opportunity because it's a very tight, slow speed corner. And you're the first person to see this lovely straight between turn 12 and 13. What that means is, if I just draw in red, you've already come through here. You've got the steering wheel straight. Meanwhile, your friend in P2 is over here. He's still turning, and that's crucial. That means you can get off the hook super quick. So I think the best place to go was just immediately on the exit of turn 12, but you need to do a bit of preparation for that. You need to be letting the safety car go so that you prepare for that launch out of turn 12. So let's talk about Oscar Piastri's restarts then. So I think on lap 27, I think it was kind of the right place around here, a little bit late in my opinion. I think it was the wrong execution. So right location, generally speaking, on the exit of 12, but it was not great execution. Let me bring up a picture and show you guys now. So here's the shot of the first restart on lap 26 it was. You can see in the background, George is still turning. This is Hadjar still turning. Even Max is still turning through this corner. But the two guys with the steering wheel straight are Oscar and Lando. So it's, in a way, it's a little bit too late. You want to be doing it like you want to be the only one with the steering wheel straight. So if you look at Lando, he's got the steering wheel straight and everyone behind him does not. And so that's a perfect time to get off the hook. That's why I think Oscar did it a little bit late. And I thought, like, okay, it was directionally correct from Oscar, but it wasn't quite, again, similar to the start. Like when Oscar pulled across to inside to cover turn 1, directionally correct, but it wasn't quite like what I'm looking for, like sharp enough. Now, in the second restart, something similar happened. This was lap 57 after Antonelli wiped out Leclerc at turn 3. You can see all the top 3 in shot here. This is Max, Lando, and Oscar. And crucially, the safety car is still in shot. So Oscar clearly hasn't done his homework here. Again, we spoke about this. You've got to let the safety car go. The safety car is exactly where you want to be accelerating out of and kicking off the race on. Well, these two guys have got the steering wheel turned. So Oscar can't do that because he's almost there at turn 12. The safety car won't be far enough down. Hence the reason why Oscar's doing his restart slightly late of the mark. Again, this is the second restart, lap 57 after Antonelli wiped out Leclerc. Again, not great car placement either from Piastri. He's actually in a defensive position into turn 13. It means he can't sweep into the final corner from the racing line. He's actually coming across the track here, and then that's not a great entry position into turn 13. And all these guys have got the steering wheel straight, so you're not really catching anyone out. As it turned out, Lando wasn't that great at reacting to Oscar or predicting when he would go. So Oscar got off the hook here. But again, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, Oscar could have done a better job in where he went on the restart, getting his car across to the racing line so he can sweep nicely into turn 13 a little bit earlier. Now, the final restart after Lando blew up was something very similar to the second one on lap 57. Oscar went in the same position. I thought Max could have and should have punished him for that. If for some reason it caught Max out by surprise, I don't know why Max didn't react very well to where Oscar went. Pretty much went in the same spot all 3 restarts. So I'm not sure what Max was thinking or where Oscar was going to go. But in addition to that, I thought, like, not only that, it's Max. Like, Max is normally excellent at safety car restarts. And then on top of that, Max is on the soft compound tire and Oscar's on the hard. I thought surely, like, if Oscar doesn't dot his I's and cross his T's on this restart, Max would be all over it. For some reason, I'm not sure why, Max didn't react well to when Oscar went, and Oscar got off the hook once again. I wanted to comment just briefly on the Sainz-Lawson incident down at turn 1. I think Carlos got a 10-second penalty for that one, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think that was quite harsh. I think it was a racing incident, and the reasons are as follows. Carlos is not entitled to any space. That's the first thing, and that's on one hand. But on the other hand, if you jump on Carlos's onboard, there was a little bit of cheeky movement from Liam as well in the middle to the exit of the corner, just kind of threw the car at Carlos unexpectedly, and then Carlos kind of jumped out of the way. I put more of the blame on Carlos. You're attacking around the outside. For me, it's always been a low percentage play. So that's the first thing. I mean, Lando pulled it off at turn 1, sure, but there are plenty of other examples like last year where Lando not pulling it off. So attacking around the outside is a low percentage play. Carlos is not entitled to any space because he didn't get sufficiently alongside before the apex as per the rules. And any movement that Liam does, yeah, you're on the outside, you're in a position where you've put your car there. If there was any movement, like let's say even Liam locked a brake or had a bit of oversteer or a slide or something not on purpose, you've got no room to react to that, or you do need to react to that because you're on the outside. You're not actually entitled to space anyway. So I put more of it like kind of you get what you deserve in that case with Carlos. So then, and there was some cheeky movement from Liam as well. But it is his corner, and you are allowed to run the car off at the exit if you are ahead at and during the apex. So that's all fine. Just racing incident. I think there was a bit of movement from Liam's side. Carlos was not in a favorable position. I didn't see why it just can't be a racing incident. Now, lap 32, Charles Leclerc starts to attack George Russell around the outside as well into turn 11. So we're going to need to talk about the rules here again. I think the reason he got so close and could attack down into turn 11, we spoke about the beautiful line into turn 10. Charles actually meets with the apex of turn 10. George is floundering on the outside. Charles gets a really nice run and can start to attack. That's, again, the benefit of the tight line. It puts you in these positions where you can start to form these attacks. Anyway, the rules say that if you're attacking up the inside, you need to be front axle to mirror. So that's Leclerc's front axle to George's mirror. But if you're attacking around the outside, as Charles was, you need to be axle to axle to be afforded any space on the exit. Let's have a look at some pictures and see what happened. Now, the first thing to look at, I guess, to give the whole context would be, did Charles make the overtake off track? And if he did make it off track, was it due to George's squeezing on the exit and so on? So I think, like, just based on this image, I won't have all the shots. I just wanted to put my thoughts out there. I think from this image, yes, surely there's a point at which all four wheels are off the track from the Ferrari. And then you got to look at the rules and say, well, was he entitled to space? Again, if you're attacking around the outside, that is the outside into 11. To get the inside into 12, you need to be axle to axle. So let's have a look. Yep, so this is obviously the turn 11 apex over here. He's not even axle to mirror, so Charles's front tire is more side pod. It's not sufficiently alongside, which means George doesn't owe you anything on the exit. Charles is not entitled to anything. So if Charles did make the overtake off track, then it would be, yeah, he'd have to give that place back because, again, George doesn't owe Leclerc any space on the exit. Just to bring up the latest version of the rules, sometimes these get updated and we don't even know about it. This is where we need to refer to overtaking on the outside. So the question is, you're overtaking on the outside into 11 to get the inside into 12. Are you afforded space? Can George run you off and so on? So for a driver to be giving room when overtaking on the outside, including at the exit of the corner, which this one pertains to, the overtaking car, that's Leclerc, must have the front axle at least alongside the front axle at the other car at the apex of the corner and to the exit. That's something that Charles didn't do. So if he did go off track, yeah, he's got no leg to stand on. Now, if he didn't go off track, well, that's a fair overtake, isn't it? It just got up the inside and, yeah, it was rough. Rough in the sense that I thought it was a beautiful move from Charles, but it was rough in the sense it was a little bit, it was a bit elbows out, a bit ugly. It was a nice move, but I think, unfortunately, it looks like he went off track. I'd be keen to see if he did actually pull that off. If he did, amazing move, all built off the back of a nice tight line in turn 11. So yeah, if he did manage to pull that off and keep that Ferrari within track limits, it will be a great pass. I wanted to show you guys a beautiful piece of trail braking and driving by Lando Norris during the race in turn 9, decreasing radius turn 9. And into turn 10 as well. I spoke about Max and we saw Max in practice and I showed you guys in Hungary as well. I'll bring it up again. But Max doesn't trail out of the brakes that nicely. He comes off a little bit and then just drops the brake pedal and turns in and finds he has chronic understeer. Again, because he's lost the weight off the front axle. Lando just bleeds out of the brakes beautifully. I'll show you guys now. Let's have a look at it together. So this is class from Lando. Have a look at what I'm looking at here, guys. Sorry, just for context, this brake here, just how long it stays on right to the corner and it just comes off nice and gradually. Beautiful technique. That's a decreasing turn 9. And even here into turn 10, again, it just comes, it's still on to the apex of the corner, which is really nice. I'll show you guys the difference with Max now. Have a look at this. Max applies the brakes and then it just flashes off all in one go. I mean, surely the car's not going to like that. So, yeah, these are some of the reasons why Max is not getting it. I think line combined with line execution are some of the reasons why I think we're starting to understand that Max in long corners a constant radius is not as good as Max in S's or double apex, for example. Now, we saw something similar in Hungary, the last 2 corners of Hungary, which are both, again, long corners of constant radius, even there, just into the one before. Have a look at this. Brake comes on and then just flashes off in the last quarter of the braking. Have a look at this. Yeah, really strange. Yeah, one of you guys' comments in my videos recently said, wondering if he has a sort of dead zone in the braking so that therefore we can't see what's happening, similar to what Leclerc has on the throttle. It's possible, but given that we know he struggles in long corners of constant radius, we know his line's not generally on point. It would not surprise me, therefore, if also the braking is not quite right either. Antonelli's crash on Charles Leclerc in turn 3, not much to say. He went for a move, understeered, and just on that part of the racetrack on the inside of turn 3, you don't have the favorability, you don't have the banking to support the grip of the car. So Antonelli just washed and just managed to clip Charles. He came out on a new set of tires. And yeah, I think it was unfortunate. Yeah, obviously Antonelli's fault. Charles done nothing wrong there. He's just been cleaned up out of the race. A shame for Charles, because I thought he did a really good job this weekend. Like, even that move was really brave. His lines into turn 10, but also turn 12 have been really nice. I've been speaking about that all weekend as well. So yeah, that's a shame for Charles. Now we need to talk, of course, about Lando Norris's engine failure on lap 65. Heartbreaking for Lando. Heartbreaking if you're a Lando Norris fan. Even in a way, heartbreaking if you were looking forward to a bit more of a crescendo in this championship. A lot of people are saying, like, even Karun in commentary, like, if this is the end of the championship, well, hang on. It's not. Still, 9 or 10 races to go. So I think it's a bit early to be talking about end of championship. This could quite easily happen to Oscar. Someone like Antonelli could wipe out Oscar. Things can happen, punctures. It's certainly still all to play for. Hopefully Lando takes that mentality and says, okay, that's fine, but it's all to play for. He takes the positives from the weekend, that he was super quick, even quick in the race, mounting an attack on Oscar. Take nothing away from Oscar's win. Beautiful win. He broke the track record yesterday. He was more or less mistake-free and flawless this weekend. So it was a well-controlled, well-managed race from Oscar. Personally, I feel a bit sorry for Lando. He's got enough to worry about, let alone, reliability now as well. Something certainly outside of his control. This is when I would afford Lando to start mentioning the word luck or bad luck. To talk about it in qualifying yesterday. I didn't see any good luck or bad luck in qualifying yesterday. But yeah, this was certainly a piece of bad luck for Lando. And it's put a dent in his championship. All things being equal, it will be hard to recover from that. But it's certainly not impossible. Rewind to 2007. Yeah, these sort of deficits can certainly be overcome. So Lando's just got to get his head down and crack on and take poles and take wins and go from there. That meant, of course, that it was Isaac Hadjar's first podium. Beautiful podium. Ever since Isaac's jumped in a Formula One car and I've started studying him, which is probably since China, I've always thought that his sweep of the steering wheel has been once in progressively and once out progressively. He's not hacking away at the wheel. He's not like changing the rate too much. He's just very nice with the way. And you guys know on the channel, I've always been saying, I feel like the steering wheel I don't look at it anymore as just turning the front tires. I look at it as a weight management tool. Essentially, that's what it is. You're loading up the car with the steering wheel. And Isaac just has that lovely input. Super happy for him. I love to see good technique and try to call it out where I can on the channel. Like Lando's trail braking, for example, was excellent. I've been calling out Charles's line this weekend has been excellent in turn 10. The way Isaac uses the steering wheel is also excellent. That's all for this video, guys. I hope I touched on the piece of the race that you wanted me to. If you had a thought, comment, or question, drop it in the comment section for me below and join the conversation. And I'll see you guys next Thursday for the Monza live stream, where we'll be talking about more safety car restarts there. Cheers.